right. Let us begin and get started. So just find your spot. Find a nice, tall, seated position. Find that tall seat and then sit up a little taller. Maybe take your shoulders up and down your back. And if it feels comfortable, letting your eyes close to begin our practice, or just bringing your eyes down to the floor ahead of you, not focusing on anything at all. And just checking in with yourself. Noticing how you feel physically, maybe doing a quick scan of your body, starting with your toes and just kind of scanning up. See if there are any areas where you're holding tension today. And just noticing, not judging, just noticing, taking in that information, maybe holding it for your physical practice, focusing on opening up those areas. And then scan your energy. How are you feeling today in this moment? How is your energy level? Again, no judgment, just noticing, taking in the information, and scanning for your mood. How are you feeling? And I know this week has been full of lots of intense feelings and all different kinds of energies. And just taking that all in, knowing that it's okay, and just showing up here in this moment, however you're feeling, and whatever energy and emotion and physical feelings you are having in this moment, knowing that it's okay and that you have chosen to have this practice today for yourself. And as you set up intention for your practice today, I invite you to consider the intention of compassion. And that can be compassion for yourself, compassion for somebody else in particular, or compassion for the world more generally. So perhaps choosing one of those focuses of compassion and carrying it with you through your practice today. And then starting to bring more attention and intention to your breath. Inhaling, filling your body with nourishing air, maybe filling with compassion, self-compassion. Pausing, and then opening your mouth, letting it all go with a sigh. And one more in that way. Inhaling, filling up, inviting in, pausing, and then opening your mouth and letting go, letting it all out. And then we'll continue with our breath, this time closing the mouth and exhaling through the nose. But again, inhaling, filling up, filling with compassion, Pausing, and then out through the nose, sending that compassion out to the world. Inhaling, filling your being with that compassion. Pausing, and then sending it out to the world. And then we start to invite some movement. And as we move through our movement practice today, continuing with that nourishing breath, continuing staying connected to compassion for ourselves and others, and maybe keeping in mind those areas in your physical being that you noticed during your scan, and giving a little extra compassion, a little extra attention and love to those areas. I notice that I am feeling tension in my shoulders, so I'll carry that today in my practice and give a little extra compassion and attention there. And certainly share breath to that area. So as we continue with our breath, starting to invite movement, inhaling that compassion, inviting in, and inhaling arms up as we do. And exhaling, hands to heart center. Again, inhaling arms up. Exhaling, heart center. Inhaling arms up, reaching really tall, nice tall back. Exhale, heart center. And we'll do 2 more that way. Inhaling, reaching tall, arms up. Exhale, heart center. And 1 more. Inhaling, and then heart center. And then inhaling up again, and we come to our twist. So twisting to your right, left hand to right knee, right hand grabs the chair or props up on the mat behind you. The inhale lengthens our spine, and the exhale is focusing on the twist. So on every inhale, we focus on a nice, tall, long spine. And on the exhale, we move a little bit, even tiny microcosmically, into the twist. And you can bring your head over that back shoulder, but if that feels like too much of a twist, just keep your head in the middle or facing forward. Continuing to stay connected to your breath as you're in the twist, keeping a nice tall spine. And then if you have your head over the back shoulder, maybe for the last couple of breaths, bring it over the front shoulder and see how that feels different. Staying connected to the breath. And then an inhale brings both arms back up to center and then to the other side. So twisting, right hand to left knee, left hand grabs your chair or props up on the mat behind you. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Again, inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. And if your head is over the back shoulder, maybe bringing it forward for the last couple breaths here. And then inhaling both arms back up, and then dropping the right hand down and just coming up and over with the left. So kind of a side bend here. Reaching up and over, continuing to breathe, making sure at no point that we're holding on to breath. We want Want to keep breathing. Breath is the most important piece of all of this. And then coming up through center and then down to the other side. So left hand to the mat, reaching up and over with the right. Nice stretch of the side. Inhale brings us back to center and then release. Some rolls of our shoulders, so up and back. And then take the rolls in the other direction, up and forward. Maybe some rolls of the hands, one direction, making circles, and then going the other way. Wiggling out fingers, just loosening up and feeling into our whole body. And then releasing, taking a nice breath in, filling with compassion, and then exhale, sending it out to the world. And then as you're ready, coming to our tabletop position. So swinging our legs around, rooting, if you're in a seat, rooting both feet firmly on the mat. If you're in the tabletop, knees below your hips, wrists below your shoulders, checking in with that. And then coming into our cat-cows. So really opening and stretching our spine by first dropping the belly, chest and hips raise. Then on exhale, arching that back. And really feeling into this. Notice how it feels. Maybe you feel tight. Maybe it feels really good to move the spine in different directions. It's not something we typically do during the day, particularly if we're seated a lot or at the computer. And then start to invite some playfulness. So moving in different directions and seeing how that feels. Maybe going side to side, making like a C curve with your spine, looking over your shoulder, and then going the other way. Maybe forward and back, or some circles with hips, one direction, and then the other direction. And maybe some stillness too. Whatever feels good. And then landing back to our tabletop position. Taking an inhale, letting it out, exhale. And then we come to our balance. So to start, we bring our right arm forward and then the left leg back to toes, or maybe that left leg lifts. And then lands. Then taking it to the other side. So left arm, right leg, maybe leg lifts. And then lands. Then first side again, making sure that we're staying connected to breath. So right arm, left leg, lifts maybe. Inhale and exhale. Landing back down. Left arm, right leg, coming to toes, maybe lifting, balancing. Staying connected to breath. And then landing. And then one more time each side with the optional elbow meeting knee. So being strong in our table, right arm lifts, left leg to toe, maybe lifts. Perhaps elbow meets knee underneath. Coming back to straight. And then landing. And then our final side. So left arm reaching forward, right leg back. Maybe it lands on toes. Maybe it lifts. Elbow to knee. Straightening back out. And then landing. And from here, pushing back into your child's pose. So toes together, coming back, hips towards feet, arms coming forward. You can always land head on a pillow or a block, or you can keep your hips up a bit if that feels better. But coming to a spot that feels somewhat restorative, restful for a moment, but still active. And maybe taking this opportunity to return to your compassion that you invited at the beginning. And again, that can be compassion for self, compassion for another, or compassion for the world. Inviting that compassion into every inhale and exhale. And then, as you're ready in your own time, coming back up to our table, landing here, and then we'll do our shoulder opener, our thread the needle. So setting yourself up in your tabletop, and then inhale brings the right arm up to the sky, and then exhale threads it through, and we'll flow twice and then land on the third. Inhale invites that arm up, and exhale threads it through. Inhale invites it up again. Exhale, threading through and landing shoulder and cheek to mat. If that feels comfortable, left hand can stay on the mat or wrap around, resting on your lower back. And just landing here, staying connected to breath, making sure you continue to breathe, focusing on that inhale and exhale. Always, most importantly, rooting ourselves to that breath. And the real practice is always simply returning to the breath. And then whenever you're ready, your next inhale brings that right arm back up to the sky. So unwrapping the left arm, landing it. And then on an inhale, bringing the right arm up. And then landing back to table. Taking a deep breath in and out. Here on our table, let's do one more in and out. And then we take it to the other side. So Inhaling our left arm up to the sky. Exhale, threads it through. Inhale, brings that left arm up. Exhale, threading through. Inhale to rise. Exhale, threads through. Then landing cheek and shoulder. That feels good. Right hand can stay by your side, or maybe it wraps up and around, landing on your lower back. Or grabbing onto that left thigh. And then when you're ready, right hand comes back to the mat, lands on the mat, and your inhale reaches that left arm back up to the sky and then lands down. And from here, you can take another child's pose, coming back, knees as far or wide as feels good, coming forward, maybe taking a little more active child's pose, pressing into the palms, activating those arms, and reconnecting once again with your breath, your inhale and your exhale. Compassion in and compassion out. And then as you're ready, no rush, taking your time, making your way back up through your tabletop and coming to a standing position at the front of your mat. So taking your time to get there, no rush. Setting yourself up for our standing practice. We're really focusing on setting up this standing position, rooting through your feet, maybe a little forward back and side to side, rolling on your feet, just to really feel into all four corners of your feet and picking up your toes, spreading them out, landing them back down. Really feel into all parts of your foot so you have a strong foundation. And then building it from the ground up. So really pulling your lower legs into the bones, thinking about pulling your upper legs, your thigh muscles into your bones, activating all the muscles, pulling your legs up into your hips. Really think about activating that. And again, you may not even notice and no one can tell you're doing this, but you're really building strength through your whole body from the ground up. Then thinking about pulling belly button in towards spine, having a nice long spine, shoulders up and down your back, head nice and tall, really lengthening up through your spine. And now you are in a nice, tall, strong, active standing pose. Just taking a nice deep inhale here and exhale. And then we'll come into our flow. So on an inhale brings our arms up, and exhale folds us forward, folding over, pulling belly into spine. Then coming to flat back, hands land on lower legs or on your thighs. Nice flat back, eyes forward and down to the ground just ahead of your mat. Next exhale brings you back into the fold, folding forward. Inhale, root you down through your feet to come up, arms reaching tall, and then to end, hands coming to heart center. Taking a deep breath here in and out. And then we'll continue and flow again. This time, let's add a little twist to the top. So inhaling up, exhale, left arm forward, right arm back, twisting to the side. Inhale brings you back up, reaching tall to center. Exhale, twisting to the other side. Inhale comes back up to center. Exhale, fold you forward. Inhale comes to flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, rooting through your feet to rise up nice and tall. And exhale, brings hands to heart center. And let's do that again one more time, but I'm not going to cue out loud. So follow your own breath. Your pace may be a little faster or a little slower than mine, and that's absolutely okay. If you forget where we are, just take a peek at me or do whatever feels good and just continue to flow. Okay, let's start with an inhale and exhale in place. Inhale. And breathing out. And then beginning together. Wonderful. A deep, deep breath in, filling your whole being with nourishing air. And then open your mouth and just let it out. Great. And then releasing arms, maybe wiggling out a little bit, preparing for our warrior series, our strength poses. So from here, maybe the hands come to hips and we start by stepping back with that right foot and setting up our pose. So back foot is at an angle, front foot toes are facing forward, making sure that your feet are wide enough apart that they're not on a tightrope. And then feeling into it, finding your pose for today, back leg straight, front leg bent. And then when you get there, hips are facing forward, inhaling, arms up. Staying connected to breath. And then your next inhale brings you to open up, warrior two. So here, hips are more towards the side. Check that back arm, making sure it's coming straight out of your shoulder. Then lining up the front arm, and your eyes are looking out over that front middle finger. Nice and strong, active, engaged posture. Then flipping the front hand, we reverse our warrior. So coming up and back. Staying connected to breath, not holding on to that breath. Inhale brings us back to warrior two. Breathing. Then taking our forearm to that front bent knee. Inhaling that top arm up so you have a nice long line. And then inhale carries you back up, warrior two. Nice strong end for this side. Eyes out over that front middle finger. Nice and strong. Breathing. And then when you're ready, hands to hips and release back to center. Maybe wiggling it out. Nice deep breath in and out. And then we take it to our other side. So from the top of your mat, stepping back with your other leg, your left leg, setting it up. Front leg is bent, back leg is straight, front feet at an angle, front toes, back feet at an angle, front toes facing forward. Really getting a nice strong foundation, both hips forward. And then when you're ready, inhaling up, warrior one. Again, through this whole thing, breathing deeply, deep inhale and deep exhale. And opening up to warrior two. So again, checking that back arm nice and straight, coming straight out from your shoulder. Then your front arm nice and straight, eyes over that front middle finger. Front leg bent, back leg straight. Warrior two. And when you're ready, flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Reaching up and back. Back arm drops down. Staying connected to breath and not holding on to your breath, but breathing deeply, even in these challenging poses. Inhaling back, warrior two. Staying connected to breath. Then forearm down or side angle. Top arm comes up. Nice long extension from tips of fingers to your back toes. And then when you're ready, inhale brings you back to warrior two. Ending strong, eyes out over the front middle finger. Deep inhale. Exhale it all out. And then hands to hip and coming back to the top of your mat. Landing here, taking a deep breath. And then coming into our balance series. So rooting down, nice and strong foundation. We'll start with our tree pose. Rooting down through the left leg. Right leg floats up to wherever it's going to land today. And again, you can have a chair in front or next to you. Inviting foot up or lower. Kickstand, wherever you're going to be. Then inhaling, hands to heart center. And just noticing. Maybe you're more, as Olive would say, wobbly than usual. It's okay if your pose wobbles. And maybe opening up, reaching tall. And then hands through heart and release. And then coming to the other side, rooting down through the right leg, nice strong foundation, inviting lightness in the left, coming to wherever you're going to land today, having your balance or bringing hands to heart center. And maybe today your tree includes a smile. Corners of your lips turning up. Maybe it grows. And then hands through heart center and release. And we'll come back to our balancing series that we've been doing. So remember, you can choose any piece of this and stick with that and just work on that for this week. You can have a chair or something nearby for balance. But again, you can do any piece of this, or you can attempt through all of it. So again, starting with a balance, rooting strongly through feet, maybe having a block or your chair seat ready if you're going to use that. Rooting nice and strong, standing tall, rooting through the left leg, right leg floats up. Again, you can hold onto your knee with one or two hands, or hold on to a chair, or both hands open, however feels good today. Maybe that knee floats over to the side. Maybe it comes back forward, stays right here, or maybe it kicks forward. And then from here, it can float back. So again, you're coming forward with your body, and your leg is floating up. Arms are out to the side, or they can be on a chair or holding onto a chair, but out to the side like airplane wings. Body is forward. And you can keep coming in and out of this airplane, or if you want to try the half moon, again, your arm can come to a block, but for the half moon, your foot is still floating up, but now you open up to the side. So one arm is going up forward, and one arm, up to the ceiling, and one arm is going down to the ground. And you may fall out of it, and that's absolutely okay. And then when you're ready, whatever form you are in, coming back to grounded and landing. And taking a deep breath in, and then letting it out. And letting go of whatever balance or perhaps lack of balance you had there. In the end, it absolutely does not matter as long as you were breathing. So maybe on this side, an area of focus is intentionally staying connected to that breath as you balance. So when you're ready, rooting down through the right leg, left knee floats up. Maybe it opens to the side. Maybe it comes back forward. Continuing to breathe no matter what. Maybe straightens out in front. And then from there, coming into the airplane. So body comes forward, leg floats up, arms are out to the side like airplane wings, or grabbing onto something for balance. And then if you want to try the half moon, you open to the side, one arm coming down to a block or your chair, one arm reaching up to the ceiling, foot is floating up. And then when you're ready, landing and grounding, breathing. And again, no judgment, letting go of whatever happened. As long as you were breathing, then you were balancing, you were doing the series. And then when you're ready, making your way back down to the mat, feet out in front, grabbing your strap or towel if you'd like to use that. We're going to come into our forward fold. So we're seated tall with feet out in front of us, feet flexed, nice tall spine. Using that strap or towel, if you have it, to wrap around your feet. Sitting tall and then coming forward, leading with the chest. So you want to keep as straight a spine as possible. You might not come very far forward at all, but that's absolutely okay. And maybe closing your eyes if that feels comfortable, just shutting off that sense so you can focus on folding forward, leading with that chest. Nice tall spine. And just connecting with your breath, allowing yourself to come into this fold. And when you're ready, dropping the head and rolling up one vertebra at a time, head coming up last. And then coming to a comfortable seat at the front of your mat. And we'll do our eagle arms. So inhale brings us up. Exhale, right arm comes under left. Remember, you have a few options here. You can do the straight to hug. You can do back of palm to back of palm, or twist arms around and do palm to palm. And there's always the option for elbow to elbow, palm to palm. So wherever you are today, maybe focusing on lifting those elbows so your elbows are up kind of shoulder height. And then when you're ready, inhale, unwraps, brings you back up to the sky, and then left arm under right, hug, palm to palm, or back of palm to back of palm, wherever feels good today. Elbows come reaching up. Nice tall spine, bringing shoulders up and back as you bring your elbows up. And then on an inhale, up and release. And then making your way to lying down on your mat. So lying on your mat, knees to ceiling. Let's do just a couple bridge flows here. So feet on the mat. On an inhale, you're just lifting the hips. And then on exhale, rolling back down. Inhale to slight lift. Exhale down. And you can also inhale, just arch your back, and exhale, press the back into the mat if that feels better. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale to lift. Exhale down. Inhale to lift. And exhale down. And then landing your back on the mat, inviting your right ankle up and over left thigh. Staying right here. Or perhaps the hands wrap around that left thigh. Both legs coming in towards your body, both feet flexed. And then hugging both knees in, releasing and hugging into the chest. Maybe a rock side to side or some circles with the knee, one direction, and then the other direction. And then landing feet and bringing it to the other side. So left foot up and over right thigh, staying right here, or wrapping arms around right thigh. Both legs coming in towards body, both feet flexed. And then when you're ready, hugging into chest, maybe some rocking, maybe some circles, just trying it out, whatever feels good. Staying connected to breath. And then landing feet, and we're going to come into our waterfall pose. So if you use a prop, getting your pillow or your blocks, feet on the mat, pushing into the feet, lifting hips, putting that prop underneath, landing hips, and then feet float up, feet above knees, above hips. Staying connected to that breath, making sure you're still breathing. And then when you're ready, lowering your legs. You have a prop, landing feet, pushing hips up, pulling your prop aside, landing your hips back down. And then bringing your arms out in a T, out from your body. And then bringing both of your knees to the right, falling to the right. And again, you can put a pillow under your knees or between your knees, but both knees fall to the right. Arms out in a T. You can bring your gaze to look over your left side. But if that feels like too much of a twist for today, just leaving your head up or in the same direction as your knees. And then whenever you're ready, hugging knees in through center and having them fall to the other side. Eyes looking out over that right arm or staying in the same direction as your knees. And then as you're ready, straightening back out, hugging knees in, and give yourself a nice big hug. Then maybe a full body stretch, arms out overhead, legs out straight. Nice big stretch, reaching in opposite directions. And then coming into your final resting restorative position. So maybe you want to just lay right on your back with feet out straight, maybe feet to the sides of the mat, kind of just foaming out, arms to your side facing up, or you can build your restorative bolster, bringing your pillows and blankets to the base of your spine, and then laying back onto the pillows, arms facing up for a bit of a heart opener. But finding a spot that feels really restful, really restorative, that will allow you to integrate all of your work today and allow you to land back into that focus on compassion. Maybe throwing a blanket over yourself. Really just finding a spot where you can rest, restore, be compassionate towards yourself. Breathe into any areas where there was or maybe still is tightness or stiffness. Give those areas extra love and attention and breath. Maybe just noticing how you feel. Again, checking in with your physical body, your energy, your emotion. And today, for our meditation, we're going to focus on offering compassion to the suffering world. So, offering that compassion out to the world around us. So, as you rest in the restorative position you have chosen, begin to intentionally breathe in. Allow yourself to be touched by the suffering in our families, communities, nations, the world, and the planet. Feel the heat, the darkness, the heaviness, sadness, hopelessness, despair, fear, or whatever else is present as you allow this suffering to be known. A suffering we all share. Breathe out coolness, brightness, lightness, a sense of freshness and well-being as you repeat the following phrases, offering your sincere wish for the relief of the world's suffering. I care about your suffering. May all sentient beings be soothed and healed. I am sorry that you have been harmed, exploited, ignored, and hated. I care about your suffering. May all sentient beings be safe from inner and outer danger. I may not know how to show that I care, but I am doing what I can to make a difference. May all sadness, pain, and sorrow be eased. I hold all beings without exception in compassion. May all beings be free from fear. May all beings feel my care and meet racial difficulties with courage and kindness. May all beings be free from pain and sorrow. May all beings be free from racial suffering. May suffering be a great teacher. May all beings be soothed and healed. Breathe in for all of us. Breathe out for all of us. Breathe in the wish to take away all the racial pain and suffering in the world. Breathe in the suffering so that all sentient beings can be well and have more space to relax, open, and heal. Breathing out, feel the qualities of compassion being released through all of your pores and out into the world for the benefit of all sentient beings. Take as much time as you need as you feel the goodness of your intention to relieve suffering. Then, as you're ready, taking your time, bringing awareness back to the breath. Breathing intentionally. Starting to invite movement, small movements, your hands and feet. Then as you're ready, making your way back to where we began, in a shared space of a comfortable seated position. And then together we close our practice with 2 shared breaths, focusing on that compassion for self and compassion that we send out to the world. Together we inhale and breathe out. And one more time, breathing in compassion for self, and then sending that compassion out to the world. Thank you all for your presence here today. Namaste.